Hi everyone, my name is Brian, and in this video we're going to start by creating the cookies that we'll use in our two-cookie JSON Web Token authorization model. Let's get started. Right. So let's start by modifying our token endpoint. So here we want to actually take and send our cookies as part of our response. So let's see what that looks like. So the first thing that we need is access to the cookie parser. So that's another dependency that we need to go ahead and pull in. And we need to tell our app, our Express instance, to use the cookie parser. All right. And we need to install that as well. So let me pull up my terminal and just do an npm install cookie parser. Cool. And now if I go ahead and restart my Node application, so I like to use Docker and NodeMon in combination for development. This allows me to run everything in a Docker container. It isolates all of my dependencies so I don't have any weird versioning issues. And then I use NodeMon, so that will watch for all of our files and make sure anytime a file changes that our server is updated. Cool, so we have our cookie parser. I'll just hide our terminal for a sec. And then we're telling our app to use cookie parser. So now down here in our token endpoint, what I want to do is as part of our response, we're going to send back two cookies. So the first is going to be our payload cookie. And the second will be our signature cookie. And so our payload is actually our header and our payload. Something like that. And so the way that we're going to send that back, first we actually need access to the header, the payload, and the signature all as individual components. So we're going to say const array token. And what we're going to do is just split up the token that we've just generated by the period. So that will give us an array with the 3 different elements that we can use to then set up our cookies. So the first thing that we'll do is res.response, or our response rather, cookie, and we want to send back one. We'll just call it payload. And so the way that cookies work is the first parameter is the name of the cookie. The second parameter is the actual value for the cookie. So by using template literals, we're going to combine the header and the payload. So we'll do that by referencing the first element in the array, a dot, the second element in the array, and that's it. So there's a third option that we can pass in for a cookie, and those are just options. So that might be that we want it to be secure, we want it to be HTTP only, we want it to expire in a certain amount of time, that kind of thing. So let's wrap this up by sending back our signature cookie. And so really this is structured the same way. We're just going to pass in the final element in the array, index 2. Cool. And for this example, we're still going to we're just going to send back the token as well as part of the response. So if I save that, NodeMon is, and we can pull that up in our browser to see what is actually sent back. So I'm going to bring this over here, and oops, and I'm just going to refresh. Token as part of the body. And down here in our console, we can see that we have two different cookies being set. So this is our payload, and this is our signature. So we can see that by the name, and then the value is exactly what we sent back. So the idea is we can now combine these two cookies when we receive them back on the server. When we put everything back together, when they combine to be a valid JSON Web Token, then we can continue to authorize the user as we normally would with any other token that we would receive in the header.